Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about how to make your website less horrible by thinking about IVR, and how to make your IVR less horrible by thinking about websites. Right? There are lessons to be learned from mistakes that both party makes. I'm going to take a drink because my throat is dry. Okay, very good. About myself, been doing speech technology and telephony innovation for 30 years. That's enough. Okay, important stuff. Topics. What do customers want? We're going to have a review. I gave a talk this a few years back. Some of you actually remember it quite vividly. What can web learn from IVR, and what can IVR learn from the web? Fairly straightforward stuff. Okay, so what do customers actually want when they use an IVR for the web? So let's think about that a little bit. Why are the people actually using it? What did they want? Let me give you a story about what they didn't want. Back when COVID-19 vaccines first came out, I was trying desperately to get vaccine before the last week in April. I wanted to be fully immune. Okay. So I went and I obsessively checked the websites in the Chicago area for various pharmacies, and they were uniformly, without exception, absolutely dreadful. I'll give you an example. One of them, I would put in a little bit of information, and then it would do a little fake typing animation. And then it would ask me a question, and then it would give me about, a half a dozen stores in my area. But then, in order to check to see whether I could get a vaccination, I had to pick a calendar date off of a calendar, and then pick a time slot. Guys, I can hear you from over here. Shh. Okay, thanks. It's distracting me. I don't care, It might work for me, actually, given my talk. Anyway, so I would sit there, I would pick a calendar date, and then I had to pick a time frame, and I had to do it for each time frame. There were 5 or 6 in a day, or 6 in a day, and I had to do it for each calendar. So I would pick date, try the time frames, date, try the time frames. In order to check a single pharmacy, I had to take 42 separate actions, okay? And this is actually one of the better pharmacies. So then I'm thinking about this, and I realize, if this was an IVR, if I was talking to a live attendant, I would never put up with this. Can you imagine talking to an attendant and the conversation goes something like this? Hi, would you like an appointment at 9 p.m.? Yes. Sorry, not available. Would you like an appointment at 10 p.m.? Yes. Oh, no, sorry, not available. How about an appointment at 11 p.m.? Nope. Yeah, sure. Nope, sorry, not available. And you had to do it. And, you had to keep on asking. You wouldn't just look at it and tell you, sorry, nothing. Try some other pharmacy. Or better yet, look at all the pharmacies and say, we got nothing. Go try again tomorrow morning. So it wasn't fun. So we're going to do 30 seconds here, and everybody who's online, all right? Why do customers use the IVR or the web? Or what is it they actually want when they use the IVR and the web? And before we start, I'm going to give you guys a hint. Did anybody ever wake up in the morning and say, by God, this afternoon I'm going to call the insurance company, and I'm really looking forward to using their IVR? Okay? Did anybody ever do that? Because I sure didn't. Okay. So now everybody's going to take 30 seconds. You can talk to your neighbor here, and people who are online will use chat, I hope. And then I'm going to ask you for your answers. What did people actually want, or how did they want to interact with the insurance company or the pharmacy? What would they actually prefer? And we're giving the IVR and the web. What are we substituting for? That's a broad hint. 30 seconds, let's go. That means you have to talk to the person next to you and come up with an idea. And anybody over here, I suggest you use chat. And anybody who has an idea, at the end, I'm going to ask for answers, and you'll raise your hands in the chat. Okay, everybody. If you're on the chat site, there should be a button in the lower right-hand corner, I think it is, that you can use to raise your hand, and then I'm going to ask Nick over there to unmute you for a moment. But first, I'm going to ask for, over here in the interactive audience, give everybody a little bit extra time. Anybody raise your hand, please, or otherwise I have to come over there and beg. Okay, come on. Sherelle, what did people actually want? I'm picking on you. Well, you have to lower your mask for a second, I'm sorry. They want to be able to speak with someone. That's an excellent answer. Anybody else have an answer? Sir? Streamline information. That's a terrific answer. Good, very good. Somebody else want to make a hazard guess? Okay. Somebody over here. Nick, is there anybody raise their hand here? If nobody raises their hand here, I'm going to have to tell you a story. No? Seriously? Nothing? Okay. You guys are out of luck. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to go on a little bit here, and then later on we're going to do this again. All right. So give me you take your 30 seconds. I personally, okay, I prefer the 19th century solution, which Sherelle talked about, which you talked about, okay? Namely, when I want to do something like this, what I want is a gentleman's gentleman, an executive assistant, a minion, or a wizard. I don't actually want to do any of this work. I wasn't looking forward to talking to somebody at the pharmacy. I would much prefer to just tell my executive assistant, get me an appointment for a vaccination. And it's that person's job, if necessary, to wake up at 5 minutes after midnight, which is what I was doing, and to check the websites. Okay? That's what I wanted. We are not offering that. However, sir, what was your name? As Cody mentioned, there are certain IVR rules for the web that you can use, and one of them is brisk, efficient transfer of information, which you alluded to. Next, focused. You don't want to give extraneous things, which people do on the web all the time. I'm about to give you some examples. All right? In other words, don't drag me off into extraneous things like, for example, when I'm giving my I'm going to the website to look at the pharmacy thing, there's this little animation of somebody typing, the thing. I am busy. I don't have time to watch that. Keep your focused on the information flow, rules that you use in IVR systems. And the other thing, whoops, sorry, there we go. Focus, and as smart as possible. You don't want a dumb IVR system that says, here, we know we don't have any appointments, but we're going to make you check each pharmacy 42 different times in order to find out that, in point of fact, we don't have any appointments. So let me see if I can phrase this correctly. Okay, let's just move on. Here we go. So here, I'm just a little bit things. So let's improve the web. I'm going to give you some examples of websites making errors that we avoid in IVR systems. And I just want to say that these rules that I came out with, which is brisk, focused, and as smart as possible, were at one time a little bit controversial. And I think that's where we settled on in IVR systems. 20 years ago, there was a fad where we're going to have personas. In the IVR systems, we're going to mimic humans and be breezy and chatty. And that seems to have fallen by the wayside, which I think is a good thing. So represent my personal prejudice, and some other people may disagree with me. But that fad seems to have passed. So let's improve the web, and I'm going to start giving you examples. And we're going to see what errors were made. I'm going to, do you see it there? Okay, great. I'm just trying to make sure everybody can see what I'm saying. I just randomly typed into the web. By the way, I picked these examples just by typing in case, enter my birthday. enter birth date. And this is the website I came in. Watch this animation here, okay? I'm just going to say, this is not really my birth date, okay? Something, and that thing, and something, and something. You see, I'm searching now for the date of my birth. When you're as old as I am, you have to go back 6 decades, more than 6 decades, to put in your birth date. Okay. IVR systems don't make that mistake. IVR systems let you just say 1956, and that's the year of my birth. And everybody knows how old I am. That's an important piece of, what's the way to phrase it? That's an important piece of information that is easy to enter through IVR systems, but web interfaces, for some reason, make you enter it through that extremely clumsy interface. I'm going to give you some other examples. Websites, if I want to enter a credit card number, now if I'm writing it out, I always put 4 digits, 4 digits, 4 digits, 4 digits, 4 digits. It makes it easy to read. And the credit card company prints it with 4 digits because it makes it easy to read. But when I entered into some websites, they demand if you put in a space, they reject the credit card number. I don't know why. I don't know why they can't parse it out. It's some weird thing. I mean, actually, it's pretty easy to know what happened. They take it out, they put it into their database, and they want you to have it formatted in advance. Or you enter a phone number. When you're doing a phone number, you call an IVR system and says, what's the phone number? You give the phone number. They don't make you say, open parentheses, 555, close parentheses, space, 123 dash, right? Nobody makes you say that. They just take the phone number. How come they don't do that? There are still websites out there to demand it. So these are errors that are made in websites that the IVR rules, if you look at the website as an IVR, with the IVR in your head, you know these are things that are bad user interface decisions. So, let's do an exercise here. People are going to work in teams for 2 minutes. That means you guys over there, okay, out there on the web. I picked these more or less at random, and I'm giving you examples. You do not have to work with these examples. Once again, Google and Google.com. If you look at the bottom of the Google search page, there's a little box that says how search works. So that's one example of something which I think I would like to see what people think about it. There's something called optinmonster.com. Once again, I typed in something and showed that. And then there's amazon.com, which is a website some of you may have heard of. And now I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes, work in teams with the people next to you, and come back and tell me what mistakes you think this website is making, bearing in mind that you want the website to be brisk, focused, and smart, which is what you do in IVR. Please go ahead. And I'm going to be watching around and talking to people. Okay. Any questions from this side of the room? No? Okay. Very good. How you guys doing over there? I hear laughing. That's a good sign, right? Okay. Just find something there that you, when you look at it, you say to yourself, this violates a rule, or if this was an IVR system, people would be throwing the phone at the wall. Really, that's really what I'm looking for here. How you guys doing on this side? Anybody get hurt? Who does? Okay. I'll what's your name again? David. Raise your hand afterwards. How you guys doing there? You good? Okay. I think that's about Nick, is there anything on the chat that anybody have any questions on the chat? If there is, raise your hand and wave it over your head or something. Okay. Okay, I think that's enough time. So I would like to hear what I have my own theories about what was wrong with those websites, but I want to call on the crowd. So once again, anybody who's the dancing skeletons? Holy mackerel, that's great. Okay. Anybody who online who wants to do it, you use that little raise your hand button, then Nick will unmute you when it's your turn. I'm going to go to the crowd in here. David had his hand up first. Go ahead, David. Okay, so let me repeat that back. When you go to Opt-in Monster, you keep on getting these pop-up messages, and the more you scroll, the more pop-ups you get. Is that what I heard? Gotcha. Okay, good. So I believe that you've just said what I've said. Okay? I'm just a little trouble hearing you, but I gotcha. Okay? Anybody else? Google. Somebody looked at Google. Any comments about the Google website? I know that somebody was looking at it. I mean, I was. Nothing? There you go. Okay. Very good. So I'm going to repeat what you said. Sorry, what's your name, please? Susan. Hi. So Susan made the observation that when you go to the Google website, you have to click on how search works. And then you have to click on something else again. And then you have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And then you get to the bottom of the page. Very good. And that violates the principle of being brisk. Very good. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody comments on any of the other websites here? Otherwise, I'm going to move on. I don't make me come over there and beat it out of you. I heard somebody talking about, who was talking about Amazon? I heard when I was walking past. No? Nothing? Okay. You're claiming you're innocent, right? Or what? Go ahead. Right? Right. Very good. That's an excellent observation. So I'm going to repeat what, I'm sorry, your name was? Shefali. So Shefali says that when she tried to use the Amazon website to search for something, she was offered multiple options in the sidebar that say this kind of lunchbox, that kind of lunchbox, repetitive. And then by the time you work through all the options, you're utterly confused. These are all excellent observations, by the way. Just what I was looking for. I want to think. What's another one? Is there anybody online? Nick, anybody raise their hand? Nothing, huh? Wow. Before I leave, you know what? I'm going to take a 1-minute break. About about a 20-minute drive from here is something called the Oriental Institute of Chicago. And in the Oriental Institute of Chicago, this is utterly unrelated to my talk. In the Oriental Institute of Chicago, there are these, they dug up in Babylonia, they dug up these little statues that looked like people, and they thought they were idols at first. But then they looked and they said, you know what, these idols look too unique. They weren't like, you'd see these, this god and this god and this god, you would see that looked like ordinary people. You know what it was? People didn't want to go to the temple every day. So they had a statue made of themselves, which they would put on a shelf in the temple, and they could use their avatar in the temple to attend, to do their daily devotions. So there are 2 lessons from this. First of all, I asked the rabbi of my synagogue if we could do that, and he said no. Okay, that was bad. But the other thing is, this is supposed to be an interactive talk. You guys over there, I see your avatars there, great, but you got to interact. It doesn't count unless you interact. Okay, so next time we do this. All right, let's return to this. We had comments about Google, we had comments about Opt-in Monster, and we had comments about Amazon. So just so everybody can see, I happen to agree absolutely with this. Here's an animation of what it does to search down the Google website. There are maybe 5 pieces of information on this entire website, and it takes multiple keystrokes to see them all instead of just giving me a couple of bullet points. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of their time. It's not brisk. It violates that thing. Focused. Here's the optinmonster.com website. By the way, I have nothing against these guys. I don't know who they are. They just came up as the first search. When I was searching for an opt-in, they came up at random. Here I am. I'm trying to get something done. All right? Now, personally, hi, everybody. I forgot it. I'm the author of The Pebble and the Avalanche. I think everybody should go out and get a copy of this book. It's extremely important. It's available on Amazon. Personally, I find it very annoying and distracting when the IVR system cuts out in the middle and gives me an advertisement. Okay? And the same thing happens on the web. When the web comes in and gives you these splash pages that are unrelated, it's very annoying to me. Finally, there's, so that violates is the principle of being focused. And then we have the Amazon website. I was looking in the Amazon website for an amplifier, and what I get is a web page that is not very smart. It used to be that Amazon was somewhat curated, at least as far as we could tell, but now I've had this infinite list of look-alike, essentially Chinese knockoffs available from various amplifiers, or the same amplifier under 20 different names. It's impossible to tell for me to figure out what's going on here. Difficult. In fact, let's do a little show and tell here. Does anybody recognize what this is? Anybody recognize this? No? Anybody do search and rescue here? First responder stuff? Okay. When I was doing some of my first responder stuff, and as the search and rescue people are particularly hard on this is a tourniquet, okay? If you cut off a limb, I'm your guy today. I just took it out of my car. These cost a lot of money, but the truism at the time, I don't want anybody to think that I'm accusing Amazon of doing this now. At the time, people found that if they went onto Amazon, they would find knockoff, fake tourniquets that looked like this, or copied the logo, but if you tried to actually use it as a tourniquet, it would fail. Life-saving equipment. And so everybody I know now, when we want to buy a tourniquet, and I've got a bunch of these, we buy them directly from the company that imports them and makes them, all right? From a known source, known good source. And so Amazon, by the way, I own, I think, 2 shares in Amazon, so I'm knocking a company that has problems that, it affects me financially that much. It's not smart. Amazon website is not smart, which is what you said. Sorry, your name is Shafani. This is what Shafani said. Shafani's trying to make a selection of merchandise. She's got too many options that it's impossible to sort in, and some of the options overlap. I'm trying to buy something over here. Everything's got 5 stars because, as you probably read in the Wall Street Journal, some people were gaming the system and trying to make sure everything was 5 stars, right? So there's really no good, smart way to get something from Amazon. So this is it's sort of an open marketplace, and it isn't as useful. So these are the principles that you should take when you have a website and you say to yourself, imagine if this were a person speaking, like the Google search page. Hi, let me tell you about search. Search happens when we do this. Search happens when we do that. Nobody wants to listen to that. You'd never listen to an IVR system that way. The other thing is, as I demonstrated, I'm in the middle of giving a talk, and I suddenly give you an advertisement in the middle. Nobody wants that. And somebody says, call up and say, I need an amplifier. He said, well, I've got 87,000 amplifiers, and I start listing them all for you. Or 87,000 lunch boxes. That's not helpful. It's not brisk. It's not focused. It's not smart. Those are the 3 examples that I'm giving. Okay. Now, by the way, it works the other way. And this is where we're going to focus on in the last 5 minutes of this talk. And I'm just going to ask you people things that happen in IVR that or either, well, let's put it this way. There are things that happen in the web that can teach us lessons about IVR. Either it's something annoying that the web does, or it's something that the web does well that we don't do well in IVR, or that some IVR systems don't do well. So we're going to spend a few moments on this topic. Think of a web example that teaches it's either the right way to do this in IVR or the wrong way to do this in IVR. Just think back to the web pages, not even the ones you just saw, but probably different ones. And remember, you want to have it brisk, focused, and smart. We're going to take 2 minutes starting now. Please talk to the person next to you. Come on, you guys can do it.
Hello.
Hey, you online guys, your avatars are going to be in trouble with me unless you guys think. Raise your hand. Oh, come on, Abby, you're right upstairs. Can't you just raise your hand? Okay.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you now. Okay, any questions over here? Whoops. You need some brainstorm time? Thinking that you saw a website, think back to a website and say to yourself, man, if this was an IVR system, only IVR systems could be this good. Or IVR systems do this all the time and it's super annoying. Oh, that's right. I don't have a lot of time. Okay, about another 10 seconds or so. And I realize people might not, this is a little bit more tough because you have to think about something in the web that you didn't like, or, think about an IVR system. Anything? This is the back table? Oh, this is the judges section, I forgot.
Don't worry, you got a 10 out of 10 right now.
Say again? Okay, go ahead, please go ahead.
Yeah, I recently got an account with PNC Bank.
Wait, hold on. Wait until I call for...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, thanks. I thought you were telling me from the web question. Okay, good.
Did anyone else?
Individual
Oh, there we go.
to you, and you're falling asleep during this whole process, and then your web session times out because they haven't even spoken the 6-digit code quickly enough. So
That is an awesome example. That is an awesome example. Okay, very good. So things not to do in an IVR system is let the thing time out. Oh, I'm here. Okay, good. Anybody here? This level? Come on, guys. Oh, there you go. Say your name, please. Jerry. Okay, go ahead. Very good. So I'm going to repeat that back. The IVR systems don't remember your context in general. I don't know if Edison in Chicago, if you call in because you're changing your electrical service, 30 years ago, it would know what you were calling about. Are you ready to change your service? It was great. But what he's saying is he calls his auto repair shop, and the auto repair shop has to ask him regain all the context. This thing's talking to me. It's like my echo. I'm being distracted. So I'm walking away from that. So the problem is the IVR system does not remember the context, and then you have to start doing that all over again. Whereas web pages are superb at that, and there's no reaction. Anybody else with that? Anybody online? Nick? Nope. Okay. So I'm going to finish up over here. I'm going to give you an example. This is obviously my day for picking on Amazon. Here we go. That's from the Amazon Prime. I'm trying to look at movies, and instead, I'm getting this, motion animation thing in the background. And this is something that's really wild. A lot of websites do this. You're trying to something, some piece of information, banking, medical things, and all these little doodads and gizmos are blinking and distracting you in the background. Complete lack of focus. And I would tell you, okay, here we go. Music, what's the equivalent in the IVR system? Music on hold. You're trying to wait for the IVR system, you're waiting for the IVR system or some piece of data come up, and you'll get music on hold. And sometimes it's music, and sometimes it's 15 seconds of terrible music by an announcement. Your call is very important to us. Okay. Was that important? Why aren't you answering the phone? Okay. So the music on hold is a good example of a distraction, which is not too terrible if you can mute it down. But music on hold with an announcement every few moments, absolutely dreadful. So it violates that thing. Of listening to an IVR system give me an utterly irrelevant announcement while I was bleeding out and trying to arrange for a little help with the bleeding out. And when I say bleeding out, I mean we're talking about femoral artery, the kind of thing we'd actually want to use a tourniquet for. So it was fun. I don't want to hear announcements about our menu options have changed. I mean, frankly, I don't believe it. Do these guys change the menu announcements every week? That they always have to have that announcement? They've had it on the system for 15, 20 years. It's stuff like that. And I realize some people think it creates a focus on behalf of the customer, but I'm really not in. And I see I'm over time. So music on hold violates the principle of focus, and this is my contact information, and I'm not stupid. My website has now been disabled, and I can go back and review it in light of the things that I've learned during this talk, okay? Because I don't want everybody going back there and nitpicking on it. So you can actually reach me. This is the contact information. Anybody wants to can contact ClueCon, and copies of my slides are going to be available. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for presenting. All right, folks, before he steps off stage, we're gonna have a quick, maybe 5 minutes or so Q&A sesh. If anybody whatsoever wants to ask a question, we have a microphone over to this side and a microphone over to this side. For anybody watching virtually, feel free to put it in the chat and we'll get them up to Moshe ourselves over here. So if you have any questions, feel free to come up to a mic. So I've got a quick question though.
Go ahead.
We talked a lot about, brief, focused, smart websites and IVRs.
Right.
If you could look at a website and pretty much everything they did, do not. Like, this is the worst example of a website possible. What would you think it is?
I hate to say it. Right now, I'd have to say Amazon.
Amazon.
I'd have to say Amazon. Amazon does a brilliant. Okay. Do you hear that echo? It's
yeah,
really
I'm going to
driving
work
me
on
nuts.
it. I can fix this real quick.
You can fix that real quick?
Yeah.
It's driving me nuts.
We're just going to boop.
Oh, thank you. That's so much better. Okay. When you have You look at Amazon. Amazon, okay, now this is a commercial for my book. All right, everybody got it? If you read my book and then you look at Amazon, they are doing everything right for getting a good infrastructure in place. They are brilliant at taking each piece of the infrastructure apart and saying, oh, we're going to sell. First, they're selling you computers, then they were selling you computer function, and now they're selling you functions on a 1 millisecond increment. You use 1 millisecond of, I want to add 2 numbers together, they'll charge you for that separately. And if you need that, that's what you get. You don't have to get a whole computer. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But when you come to the website itself, okay, see, I cannot remember your name, I'm sorry. Hello. Shefali. Okay, I'm bad at names, okay? It's a secret. Everybody, don't tell anybody here. So as Shefali said, you're sitting there trying to do a simple task of buy something, and you have a welter of confusing, is this men's clothing? Is it, human clothing? Is it children? They're doing a terrible job, I think. It's confusing. It's hard. Go try to find, I don't know, your credit card payments.
Well, that's where I was going to go. For a website that really likes my money, for whatever reason, paying off my Amazon credit card balance is just a hassle on their website. Really?
Okay. See, when I go to the website and I'll say, well, where are my credit cards? Or where's my lists of things that I put into the system? Well, it's list. You go list. And you go, where's my list? I want to drop down. I want to change and look at a different list. I can't look at the different list. I have to go here. It's from user interface standpoint, it's extremely complex instead of simple. There are a lot of busy things going on.
Awesome.
Okay, that's it. That's the one question. I did use up too much of my minutes. Go ahead. Somebody else got a question?
Anybody else? Devin, or what about virtual?
Nobody wants to talk to me. It's very disconcerting. I don't blame them.
It's okay. They sound like my girlfriend at this point. They don't like talking to me either.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Oh, I'm hearing the peanut gallery over there. Okay. So, really? That's it? Okay.
Right.
I didn't know we were doing Q&A. I would have left some unanswered questions for people to answer.
Yeah, we spoiled the entire Q&A session.
All right. Yeah. I would say, though, that you have, when you're looking at the IVR or the web, you have to say to yourself, it doesn't have to be this way. If a person were taking care, well, what we're going to find, I'm hoping in the next few years, is that AI systems will come in and take the place of the executive assistant or gentleman's gentleman. All right? I don't care how good your web page is. I have to log in, I have to authenticate myself, I have to go to the account, and then I get to send $50 to David because I owe money for a meal. Sorry, David, I'm picking on you because you told me your name. Okay. So that takes time. What I want to be able to do is tell my gentleman's gentleman, please send $50 to David. I'm done. Why isn't it that frictionless? We're not there yet. That's where we should be headed. We should be headed to that frictionless system. And if you ever put together a system that puts more friction in, you're just moving us back out of the future. Back to the 19th century, that'd be fine. But like to 2002, not so great. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Moshe.
You're quite welcome. Okay, guys.